It's Friday. I want to share a little something we're calling Weekender Wisdom. It's 3 new pieces of, I would say, political wisdom. I feel like I picked up this week. Things that challenged my thinking at the start of the week. Taught me something new or simply challenged conventional wisdom. This week, it's Obama's Iowa slump, Lugar's not-so-sweet home, and Connie Mack's brawling past. Let's bring back the panel now. Jen Psaki, Robert Trainum, and Michael Shear. They're all going to take one of them. Robert, I want to start with you. Here's what we learned about Dick Lugar. He could not answer the question of, this is a U.S. Senator running for re-election in Indiana. He could not answer the question of what home address was on his Indiana driver's license. It seemed to me like, it seemed unrecoverable to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, senators always have this problem. I remember Rick Santorum had this problem in 2004 with his residency issue. It's always an issue when members of Congress come to Washington, D.C. They have a home here, but they really don't have a home back in the state. And my understanding is that he used his Senate address as part of his address for his farm. His brother lives on the farm. It's very, very messy, and politically it's very, very naive. He knows better.
The residency, I mean, Tom Daschle, some people believe they lost when he uttered the phrase, I'm a D.C. resident, and at the time it was defending whether he could appeal to African Americans in a Democratic presidential primary. Jen Psaki, you spent a lot of time in the state of Iowa.
I did.
This is interesting. It's not just a Des Moines Register poll that came out that showed Paul, Santorum, Romney all leading the president. I've talked to some folks privately that there's something going on here that despite the president recovering in every other battleground state, he didn't do here. Is this because so many Republicans were attacking him for months in the state?
Well, sure. I mean, we know 2 things. One is that Republicans spend 6 months attacking the president in Iowa. That's who voters in the state saw every day. That's who they heard from on a positive and a negative message. The second thing is Ron Paul was beating the president by the most in that poll. We know one thing. Ron Paul is not going to be the nominee for president. But is there more work that needs to happen and will happen in the state? Absolutely. And the fact that he started his campaign there are a lot of roots, is something that's really in the president's favor.
And our third one, finally, in Florida, Michael Shear, Connie Mack, golden name, son of a U.S. senator, great-grandson of a famous baseball brawler. I thought could be the instant front-runner and really challenge Bill Nelson. But, boy, what did we learn this week about?
Misspent youth.
Misspent youth, yeah.
In 1992, he got in a bar brawl after reportedly taking Jaeger shots, which is very 1992, with brave slugger Ron Gant. Apparently tried to hit him low, below the belt.
Well, when you're in a headlock, right, you sort of have no choice at that point.
Hit him low below the belt, and then in the process broke his own ankle.
George Lemieux, now the appointed senator, Charlie Crist, former right hand, feels, you're like, look, who's doing the oppo dump here? This was a pretty sophisticated piece of opposition research. George Lemieux then the next day calls him
Charlie Sheen.
The Charlie Sheen.
And they're trying to build a narrative here. And, you know, this is the kind of thing that, you know, it depends on how he plays it on the stump. If there's a point at which he loses his temper or something like that, then it all brings back. But you could probably skate through it. It's still early.